SmackDown plans for The Rock for tonight have been revealed. Plus, we have an update on WrestleMania weekend plans this year and backstage details on the Hardys WWE return. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. It was announced last night / wee hours of the morning here in the UK that The Rock is going to be on SmackDown tonight as the show emanates from New Orleans. We know why now, don't we, Andrew?
We do. This comes from WrestleVotes, who say all signs out of the Big Easy this morning point to The Rock officially announcing that WrestleMania 42 is indeed coming to New Orleans next year.
So it looks as if The Rock is going to be on SmackDown tonight to make the big announcement.
Yes.
Putting The Rock to do it is the obvious choice. You're going to draw more eyes to SmackDown if The Rock's going to come out. I reckon at the top of the show to make the announcement.
I think so too. And not only does it do that, depending on what he's doing, because we all know he's got this. There's plans at the moment, obviously, that, in the works for this Martin Scorsese film that he's going to be a part of as well. It starts everybody bubbling about the prospect of maybe him doing something at WrestleMania as well, doesn't it?
And that is fueled by comments from The Observer. Now, obviously tonight, it looks as if The Rock is coming to SmackDown to announce the New Orleans WrestleMania for next year. But as it pertains to this year, The Observer saying, I don't know what commitments that The Rock has outside of the Martin Scorsese crime thriller. But as far as timing goes, he has said that he needs 9 weeks of hard training to get into Mania wrestling shape. We are now 9 weeks away.
Ooh.
So, if anything is going to happen for WrestleMania, we will see the seeds sown, I think, if not exactly tonight, over the next 72 hours.
I agree as well. I think everything's sort of building to this SmackDown, even with Triple H being like, "Oh, anything could change at the last minute with The Rock turning up." I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that one, of course. So we'll talk all about it in the news videos tomorrow and online at cultaholic.com as it happens. We talked this morning as well. Did Adam and I, we talked about the Hall of Fame. And looking like they're making some changes for when the Hall of Fame happens. This is due to issues from last year. It was a slog last year.
It was, I mean,
with the greatest respect, apart from the Paul Heyman bit.
Exactly, but then everybody started leaving after that bit anyway. So, and there's some fairly big names in this year too, so I guess you don't really want that to happen again.
No, you certainly do not. The Observer reporting the talk that we are told at press time is they were negotiating venues and looking for a site fee from someone in Las Vegas. So this confirms that it will not be taking place from the same venue as the SmackDown, NXT and Raw shows, which is what they have done previously.
Yes, yeah.
We talked about it this morning. The reason that Hall of Fame always just looks like a regular wrestling show and all the inductions take place in the ring is because it's a logistical nightmare to have like the SmackDown set packed down, replaced with the Hall of Fame one, replaced with the NXT one overnight for the show there. Adding NXT and Stand and Deliver in normally the same venue as Raw and SmackDown has meant that the Hall of Fame has suffered as a result. But if they're going to take it to a different venue, you can have some fun with that.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I think Adam said it on this morning's news as well. Like, why not do the whole make it look like the Grammys kind of thing? Like, give it some pomp and circumstance, which it did have at one point as well, didn't it?
It really did, yeah.
So, and if they did go back to something like that, I would not be opposed to it at all. And I think in Las Vegas, have it all zhuzhed up, zhuzhy, as the Las Vegas people say, as the Las Vegans say.
Those Las Vegans, they do love a little bit. Oh, zhuzhy. From what I understand.
You know what I mean. Some nice little frills and thrills here and there.
I know. Very appropriate that we talk about this next story on the day that the ring canvas arrived as a special gift for us from Grand Slam. Look at that. There it is. That's the full size of the ring. But the ring size wasn't the main conversation that came out of Grand Slam. It was that banger of an opening match between Carl Fletcher and Takeshita taking on Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Going to put the canvas over there again. And this was the opening match of Grand Slam for AEW AEW for good reason, wasn't it, Andrew?
Yes, it was. Yeah, the Observer report saying the decision was made to go right from the NBA to the Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher match. The idea was to show an audience of NBA fans, who for the most part were not AEW fans, the idea of seeing something that would be unlike whatever pro wrestling they'd seen before, and showcase four of the company's best wrestlers as well. And the result coming out of the NBA All-Star Game was the strong lead-in for the AEW show in a long time.
Yeah, one of the strongest they've had in a good long while, possibly one of the best ever for them. The NBA All-Star Game, massive ratings draw, so to bounce straight from that straight into action with those four and just letting them flip and go is a great call from AEW to do that. And it was a really strong match as well. A really, really strong one. And also it's a nice check, because normally they have the Big Bang Theory as a lead-in. So this is a nice way of mixing it up and introducing new sports fans to wrestling.
Yeah, this was a big banger.
Hey!
Theory. I don't know where that was going. That was horrendous.
For that, you can have the AEW Grand Slam canvas.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Don't have too many wrestling matches in it. There it is. There it is. We end on some news regarding TNA and NXT. It was revealed on Tuesday that the Hardys are returning to WWE. They're going to be on NXT next week, facing the No Quarter Catch crew. Matt told us how this came to be, and it's not as well planned as you might think.
No, he was talking on the latest episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, and he said this was a very last minute thing. Even when that happened on Tuesday night, that little video of Jeff and I that was on NXT, that had only existed about an hour, 45 minutes before that. It hadn't been long. This is not something that had been long-term planned out. It was very spur of the moment, and that kind of makes you feel alive. It kind of gets the adrenaline flowing and pumping a little bit. It's been fun thus far, and I'm excited to see where we end up going with all of this.
You'd have assumed that maybe them coming back would have been something that would have been in the pipeline for a little bit.
That's exactly what I would have thought. I think even me and you on the news at one point were like throwing around the idea of, oh, how amazing would it be to have the Hardys versus Fraxium or something on NXT? And again, I thought that would have been something that was a given, but apparently not.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see it around WrestleMania weekend. I think that's a match that you hold off on until maybe Stand and Deliver. And then you give us Hardys versus Fraxium.
That's a good show.
Just a few hours before WrestleMania, I think that'd be a really nice way to do it. But Hardys have No Quarter Catch crew this coming Tuesday. Something that happened very lastminute.com. I love the idea that they were just told, do you want to face NQCC next week? Yeah, sure, let me get my iPhone. Hang on.
Why not?
Jeff, get in here. We're filming. We're filming a bit.
That's what they're good at though, aren't they? They're very good at thriving off things like that, I feel like, Matt and Jeff as well. They're just very creative boys.
The WrestleMania vibe is strong. Obviously, SmackDown tonight. We'll see The Rock, as we said in our lead story, announcing, according to WrestleVotes, that WrestleMania 42 is going to be in New Orleans next year. We may even see The Rock have some wheels in motion for whatever he's going to do at WrestleMania this year, if anything. But away from that, Andrew,
yes,
the Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review returns tomorrow morning.
That's the big one. That's the big one.
I've been away, being selfishly on my honeymoon with my wife. I don't know who else I'd have gone with. But we're back, myself and Matthew, Greg, and a really pivotal episode of SmackDown that we're covering tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
On the podcast feed. It is essentially the SmackDown that saved John Cena's career and altered the course of his life.
That's very exciting.
If you're subscribed to us on Spotify, on Acast, or wherever you get your podcasts from, you'll get that first thing in the morning. If you're a Patreon, you can watch the video version first thing in the morning as well. And there's an ad-free version as well. As thank you for supporting us at patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can currently watch Adam Pacitti navigating a mousetrap maze.
I felt so, but I feel like I was very sassy that video. I let it all go. I've never forgotten, like 2-3 years ago when he said to me beforehand, he said, I won't chop you in the chest during that chops punishment. He was like, I'll hold back. And then he did not hold back at all. He left a cavern in my chest. So I've left many a cavern in his fingers.
You certainly did.
Mousetraps.
Cultaholic punishments are back, and they are exclusively at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Kiss, kiss!
Love you, bye.